Hey everyone, Taylor here from Lakewinds Minnetonka. Today I'm going to show you how to make a pour over cup of coffee with this Chemex here. The most important thing I think to remember is a good ratio of coffee to water, and a good starting point for that is 20 grams of coffee to 300 grams of water. That's going to give you about 1 cup. So from there you just do the math. 40 grams of coffee to 600 grams of water for 2 cups, 60 grams, 900 for 3. Pretty simple. So in this Chemex, I can make 2 cups of coffee pretty easily. So I'm going to do 40 grams of coffee, 600 grams of water. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by adding 40 grams of coffee into the top of the Chemex here. It's really easy and nice to have a scale that you can weigh in grams. That way I can keep track of all of this as I go. So I've got everything tiered out, and I'm going to add my 40 grams of coffee. Got my favorite coffee here from the bulk aisle, so always a plus. Almost there. Okay, that's 40 grams of coffee. Kind of let that flatten out. Okay, so I got my 40 grams. I'm going to zero out my tare. I've got my coffee here. I brought it up to boiling. I'm going to let it sit for about 30 seconds to come off of boil. A good temperature for brewing coffee is about 204, 205 Fahrenheit. And it's important to have a gooseneck kettle, is what they call this. It really allows you to control the stream of the water and be kind of specific about where you're directing it as you're brewing the coffee. So it's really, really good to have this kind of water kettle. So this has been sitting for a few seconds, so we're probably at a good temperature here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just adding as much water as I have coffee here. So I've got 40 grams of coffee. I'm going to start by adding 40 grams of water just to get the coffee wet. It's called the bloom. You'll see the coffee kind of start to get activated. It'll start to bloom up. It'll be off gassing. It'll kind of bubble. That's how you know you've got really good fresh coffee for one. So that's where we're going to start. You're going to start in the middle, maybe make little circles, kind of all around to the edge and back. There we go. So I'm going to let that sit for just a second. You can start to smell it. It's really, really nice. So, okay, so this is looking good. Another thing that you can do is grab yourself a timer. A lot of people in the coffee world will say like a pour over like this should take about 3.5 to 4 minutes to brew completely. So if you really want to be technical about it, you could time yourself. I'm not doing that today, but you definitely could. So I'm going to add some more coffee or some more water here. I don't want to bring it up too high. I do just kind of want to bring it up to maybe an inch or so below the rim of the Chemex. And then I'm going to let that kind of brew through a little bit. So we're at 325 grams here. I'm going to let that sit for a second. One thing about timing your coffee, your brewing, if you want it, is if you find that it's taking a lot longer than maybe 3.5, 4 minutes, your coffee might be ground a little too fine, and so you might want to make that a little coarser. Conversely, if you find it's taking a lot less time to brew, it's brewing very, very quickly, you might want to make your grind a little finer. That will help keep the water in contact with the coffee longer. It'll help stretch out that brew time. So. We're looking pretty good. I'm going to add some more water here. Again, just nice circles, nice and slow and easy from the center around to the edge and back into the center. We're just going to keep making circles. We're approaching 500 grams of water. We're getting pretty close. All right, so I'm probably going to let that sit for just another second. It's very fun. It's very active. It's kind of nice to like make your coffee by hand. Here we are at 600 grams. So we'll let that finish brewing through, and you've got a couple cups of coffee. Nice and easy. Have a great day.